Okay, hello everybody. Uh, I'm just going to get started, and if people log in, they can follow along and ask questions as we go. So I'm recording this so people can also watch this after the fact. Um, my name's Michael Overstreet, Mike. I've been a roboticist for a long time. I started in school doing Legos and Vex. Then first in high school. Then when I got out of high school, I did uh, mentoring at first. And in college, mentoring at first when I had time. And then when I got out of school, did a few mentoring, and then I got I think it was 2005. I went to my first Robo Games in Maker Faire, San Mateo. And so I got started, got heavily involved in robotics. Um, so as people join, hopefully more people join, just ask questions, and if I can unmute you if you want to have an in-depth question you want to talk about. But so my background is I've been doing Lego and Vex first in school. Then after I got out of school, college, I mentored first, and then I got heavily involved in robotics with Robo Games in 2005, 2006. Humanoid robots, Kung Fu, and so on. So I got probably about a 40-minute presentation. You can ask questions during the presentation or afterwards. Also, I'm going to post the video later to YouTube, and of course, you always send me a question by email. So just kind of just jump into the presentation that I've done. Share my screen here. Hopefully everybody can hear me. If you can't, please say something. So for the last few months, almost since February, March, I've been having a lot of my friends who are involved in robotics, both in professionally and in college, have been doing a lot of research into how to use robots to help with issues caused by the COVID-19 pandemic. So I found at least there could be more areas. I could probably break some of these down, but I think there's 5 major areas that robots can help with pandemics. So I'll kind of go over them real quick. Telepresence robots, they've been around for a long time. This is not, so a lot of these robots and skills have been in development for years, but now can be used to help issues, like I said, with COVID-19. Once telepresence robots, you can actually get pretty cheap telepresence robots now for under $1,000. I think this would be, telepresence robots, I think, would be a great opportunity for maker spaces and open source projects where people can promote and use telepresence robots in schools, maker spaces, and in educational purposes. People can use also use telepresence robots to talk to friends and family members in their homes. Delivery robots is a kind of a new development in the last few years, but I think as issues caused by COVID-19, we try to resolve them or try to mitigate them, delivery robots are becoming more and more important. Cleaning robots is huge, I think, for COVID-19. If you have robots doing the cleaning, then if you save a lot of PPEs, and you decrease the exposure for people, cleaning people to COVID-19. Another really cool area that we can explore is assistant robots. Great example is robot chefs. Oh, actually, chiefs. Sorry, that should be chefs. Misspelled. And then finally, inventory robots. So as supply chains get under stress, inventory robots, like examples are Walmart, Amazon, so on, can be really helpful and to decrease the stress on supply chains, especially in the height of a pandemic or an outbreak in a warehouse or inventory or so on. You can use robots to kind of automate the process while you clean and quarantine the workers, and then once they get back to work, they can augment and supplement the robots. So let's kind of dive into telepresence robots a little bit. Like I said, telepresence robots have been in development for a good 5-10 years. I think they can be really helpful, especially if somebody got COVID-19 or is being quarantined or is being in the house by themselves. I think telepresence robots are a great way to continue social interactions. A great example is my robot Snow back here. She can be using the telepresence capability both autonomously and through telepresence through over the internet. Learning in schools is another great use for telepresence robots. So just think of as you start opening up schools, we're going to have some teachers and students that either get COVID-19 or have pre-existing conditions that make it dangerous for them to get COVID-19. You can actually use a telepresence robot to allow the teacher to teach the class, or you can have somebody who has a skill or knowledge, like a SMED. You can come into a class and use a telepresence robots to help teach a presentation or teach in a class remotely. I think this is a great application for telepresence robots as we start opening up. Then the other one, of course, is businesses of all types. As we struggle with opening, closing, I think we kind of need to be more creative in our approaches. And I think work businesses and offices and so on, as people work remotely and both remotely in the offices, you could use the telepresence robots to allow them better interaction. Now, yes, you can have meetings, Zoom meetings and so on, but if you have an issue outside the meeting, you could use the telepresence robots to bring the person directly to whatever the issue is, like on a factory floor or a warehouse, a place of business. You can actually use a mobile robot to go from issue to issue, and you can have multiple people, experts you can call in instead of flying in the expert or having the expert come into your office. You could use a mobile telepresence robot to go directly to where the issue is, and then you communicate them, and then you have video, you can see them, and they have video, and they can move around and try to troubleshoot whatever issue it is. So I think telepresence is a huge, very important way to help solve. So to kind of help out, I'm a kind of a visual person. I like to see things, and so I've got a few videos that can help maybe explain and kind of show oh, hang on. Yeah, I got the video up. Somehow I got out of the screen sharing. Sorry about that. So I think this is a great video. This is actually a few years old. This brings up the possibilities of teaching remotely, and you can have people all over the world teaching a class, or if for some reason they have COVID-19 or like I said, a conditions, they can actually teach remotely. I think this is a really great example. So this is a school in Alaska, and the cool thing is that the teacher can remotely teach the class, interact with the students through a telepresence robot. And I think this helps with, definitely helps kids and teachers interact better than just like in a Zoom meeting. So the telepresence robot can go from class to class. The teacher's on the screen and they can sort of interact with the students. This also kind of helps with, you can move from student to student, area to area. But I think this is a great example of how robots can help now and in the future, interact and help teach in schools. I think it kind of gives more of a presence for the teacher and the person. Now you may have to have an assistant there with the telepresence robot, but I think this is a great example of how we can help in the future. And like I said, you can have the robot move around the classroom, interact with the students individually or in a group. You can have it go from one table to the next table. So the big thing is that this helps with the multiple camera views and angles. You don't have to move around the laptop, the computer, or have the students, one student at a time get in front of the camera. You can actually have the robot go from table to table, area to area, from classroom to classroom, and interact and teach. Just like Snow here can do. This is a very recent example, but I love this example. So this was a test at I think it's actually in a Japanese graduation ceremony. So let's say you have students that have COVID-19 and they're going to miss the graduation ceremony or they're going to miss an event. This allows them to interact, at least gets involved in the event. And these students are graduating, so these avatars, telepresence robots, are basically kind of taking their place, helping them to be involved. This has definitely, because this time of isolation, be able to socially interact and evolve and have better communication with people, I think is awesome. Well, I think this is a great example of how we can use telepresence robots. We can be creative. Also, just think if you have somebody that has COVID-19 or you have COVID-19 and you want to interact with parents, grandparents, kids, I think this definitely allows you to have a better social interaction. Because like you don't have to have a camera and a portal in every room. The robot can move from room to room and event to event. So I think this is another great example of what a telepresence robot can do for us. So, like I said, I can't stress how big I think telepresence robots can help with social interaction. And this technology is doesn't have to be invented. It's already working and working very well. You just need a good internet connection and then off you go. So this is kind of a more newer area. A lot of work's being done very recently on this, not just because of COVID-19, but because of other issues, labor issues, or efficiency issues, or trying to get the price down. So when I'm talking delivery robots, I'm talking both indoor delivery robots and outdoors. So when you think of indoors, some great examples are you've got a hospital floor or apartment, a hotel, and you want to, in this day of COVID-19, you can decrease the use of PPEs by having the robots deliver medical supplies, food, whatever to the individual rooms. The great thing about robots like Snow, the great thing about robots like Snow is they can't get COVID-19. So they can't get sick. They can't transmit the sickness. Now you can get COVID-19, the bacteria and the virus on the outside shell, but that's really easy to clean. You can spray a disinfectant using UV light, because UVC light is harmful to us, but not harmful to a robot. UVC light can kill the bacteria. So, so like I said, both indoors and outdoors is also another new example for robots. Well, I'm talking delivery robots from the car, the vehicle, to the door. You can use a autonomous vehicle to get to the neighborhood, and then you can use a robot to go from house to house. I think ground robots are going to work a lot better than UAVs for lots of reasons. And then so you have a wheeled or a walking robot deliver the package directly to the door. So again, I got some great video examples I think that can help you kind of understand what I'm talking about. So this is, I think, an awesome example of a complete delivery package. This is being developed by Ford. But so you have both an autonomous vehicle, and then you have a robot to drop off the package. So the great thing about this solution, now this can be kind of expensive and maybe overkill, but just think if you're in a pandemic situation and you just don't want any social interaction between touching or anybody getting close to each other. This complete system will allow you to deliver packages like food and medicine to each individual house and limit exposure. So once you put the packages on the delivery vehicle, everything is autonomous. There's no human-to-human contact with the package. So you can like disinfect, so you can put all the packages in the vehicle, get them ready for the delivery. Before the vehicle leaves, you can disinfect all the packages with UV light or a spray disinfectant, and then you can have the packages delivered to the door. And these robots are becoming very sophisticated now in walking and getting from point A to point B without any issues. So this kind of in the loop. But I think this is a great example when you have supply chain issues or you're trying to get a package in the middle of a pandemic to a person who desperately needs it, medical supplies, or they're running short of food and water. You can have a autonomous vehicle deliver them directly to the building of the house or apartment and help them out. So you're probably going to see robots like this more and more in big cities. The US, it may not work as well, but in big cities, tightly compact big cities like New York, Philadelphia, Detroit, some of these compacted cities where you have a lot of apartment buildings and so on. This is actually, this campuses and universities are using these to deliver within the campus environment. But these robots are really sophisticated. They use LiDAR, GPS, vision sensors to navigate around. This technology is very advanced, especially with the help of GPS, LiDAR, and vision sensors. So this allows, once you put the food, supplies, or whatever at the business, into the robot. The robot can autonomously, without any intervention from a human, take that package from the store or wherever restaurant and deliver directly. It also can follow the traffic lights and so on using vision sensors, OpenCV, and so on. Then once it gets there, it'll notify the person saying, "Hey, your package is there," and then it can deliver the package. I just think this will probably work really well in big cities like Tokyo and Seoul and New York, and colleges and universities. This may help colleges and universities open up and deliver all kinds of different stuff to different people. So I think, like I said, most of this technology is very advanced now. So it's not like we have to reinvent the wheel. Everything can work now. The solutions are now. And I think there's lots of ways robots can help open up, start helping us open up in restaurants and other stuff going in the future. Like I said, delivery robots are, I think, becoming more and more important in this day and age. Now, the next major topic is cleaning robots. So this, I think, can really help with PPE use. So think of all the janitors and cleaners and people in all kinds of public, like restrooms are big transmission point for COVID-19 and pandemics. Cleaning robots are going to be huge, I think, in helping alleviate the PPE use and human exposure to pandemics and viruses in airports and public restrooms, public buildings, places of business. And two big areas that the cleaning robots can help in is with UVC light. So UVC light is destructive and damages the viruses and the bacteria. I think, in my opinion, I think most businesses should have use UVC light disinfectant now and in the future, not just for COVID-19, but for all like flu seasons and other stuff. The only drawback with UVC light is that it's harmful to both our eyes and our skin. So there's being research done in what's called Faire UVC light, which seems to kill bacteria and viruses, but it doesn't harm and hurt us. But that's a very expensive option and still under development. The other thing I think robots can really be helpful for is in spraying disinfectants, defoggers, misters. Because if you've seen, I've seen videos of workers, both indoors and outdoors, with the big defoggers walking around with the full body suits, mask and visor, all kinds of stuff. Robots like Snow back here. I keep knocking off that. So yes, yes, robots definitely can help in schools. I think you missed the part where I talked about telepresence robots, but yes, if you have any questions, just feel free to go to the chat and post them. But yeah, it's cleaning robots. So just think of the bathrooms. Think how disgusting the bathrooms are. Think of how many viruses are in the bathrooms. I think UVC robots go into a bathroom periodically during the day, during class, and just zap everything. And so that when there's a break time in between classes, the students will always go to a clean restroom every time. And same thing with spray disinfectants. You could hit it multiple ways, UVC light and spray disinfectants. So I have a few videos here to kind of help out, kind of show what I'm thinking. So this is just a great example of a spray disinfectant robot, defogger. So at a place of business, a school, or whatever, you can have this robot periodically during the day, before the day starts, after the day starts. go into common areas, spray, door handles, keypad, punch pads, common areas where there's a lot of human traffic, hospitals, places of businesses, restaurants, you name it. They can go in and spray down. And this is an autonomous robot. And the great thing about these autonomous robots is you kind of map out the area where they need to disinfect and spray, and they can just jump in and do that for you. Okay. So I love this example. So everybody hates cleaning restrooms, hates cleaning their bathrooms. So I think it's just a matter of time before we have specially designed robots to just go into restrooms periodically. And this is an autonomous robot. This is all automatically. It uses the water jet and spray down and clean everything. Just think how much PPE use it helps, because you don't have to think about a janitor. A person has to periodically clean the restrooms. Just think that every time they go into the restroom, they're going to have to put on PPEs, and then they're going to have to disinfect or clean themselves, take the PPEs off between restrooms, between areas. Think of how much PPE you decrease. It's like I said, robots cannot get COVID-19. Robots cannot get a pandemic, a virus, a flu virus. And it's really easy to clean the outside of the robot with disinfectants and sprays. I think in the future, janitor robots, butler robots in the house will become more and more important. Like you have right now, you actually have robots that people buy to clean their floors, vacuum their floors. So I think it's more and more you're going to see these robots, especially in public places. But I do think people would love to have these in their house, so that the robot will clean their bathrooms once a day or periodically, just to keep it clean. So if you have a big family, maybe somebody has COVID-19 or you're quarantining, you can actually clean the bathroom or restroom between right after they visit, to help people stay quarantined. But this is a autonomous robot, just goes around, does all the cleaning on its own. Little or no input from a human being. Now you may have to tell everybody to leave, close down the restroom while the robot is cleaning. But I think these would be great for schools. So when class is on, you can have robots go around all the different restrooms and clean all the restrooms, so that they'll be ready to go and clean when the kids get out of their class or between classes. So yeah, I think, to me, this is a UVC light. I think really needs to be adapted by schools, businesses, airports, places where we have a lot of traffic, public areas, and so on. Like I said, UVC light has been shown to kill viruses, bacteria, flu viruses, COVID-19 on surfaces. It actually does penetrate a little bit into clothing and other stuff. So you're going to see these UVC light disinfectant, robots being sold a lot. The disinfect masks and other PPEs, clothes and other stuff. But like I said, one of the drawbacks to UVC light is it's very harmful to our eyes and our skin. So let me just play the video. So this is autonomous robot. The robot goes into a place that needs to be disinfected, and it can disinfect an area. We're talking airplanes, buses, bathrooms, common areas, meeting rooms, And so, like you said, so the UVC light turns off when the human being walks in front of it and turns back on once the person has left the area. Ambulances, you name it. There's all kinds of applications, events where, especially, you can so after school is out, you can have them drive around and kill all the bacteria in the schools. So if you have an outbreak or you have a restaurant, you can have these UVC robots every night go into a restaurant and disinfect the entire restaurant. You maybe even take a break during the day between breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and have the robot drive around the restaurant and zap all the viruses and bugs in the restaurant. Airplanes are another great example. You can have the between flights, you can have a robot go in and disinfect the entire inside of the airplane between flights. So I think this is a great example of a way these autonomous robots to kill bacteria and disinfect areas. There's all kinds of great examples. It's simple. Just go out on YouTube and you can see all kinds of great examples of how robots can help in this area. So I think I've kind of killed that, just beat that subject down. So let's kind of move on. So this is another big area. Now, this is a very general, large area. The robots can help. Just think of all the different things robots can help and assist people in their homes, in their businesses, on hospitals. So robots are getting very sophisticated now, assistant robots. They can take voice commands in all different languages, like Snow here. You can take voice commands, interact with people, so you don't have to touch the tablet. You can just do voice commands, interact with the robot. Or if you're in a very noisy, crowded area, you can use the tablet to interact with her, and so on. So these assistant robots can be very helpful if they have arms and hands. And I have some examples. I'll show some videos here in a second or two. But and this is established technology. There's been a lot of work done on arms and hands and picking up and manipulating devices. There still needs to be a lot of work done, but we're far enough ahead on this technology that it can help now in various different ways and help people out. And so, like I said, I got examples. Just think of anything that can help a person. Butlers in the homes, cooks, receptionists, tour guides. So if you have a place of business and you want to limit access because of a pandemic of COVID-19, you can have receptionist robots like Snow be the first interaction. People come into a place of business like a lawyer's office, a dentist's office, or a doctor's office. You have a robot that will greet them with voice commands, and it has vision sensors. It can actually even use image detection, face recognition, just like your phone does, and so that it can recognize you, see who you are, know that you're should be here, and allow you access to a place of business. And tour guides and basic kiosks, mobile kiosks are great examples. This is a really broad category, but I think it'd be very helpful in today's environment. So cooks, to me, cooks are another example, like the cleaning the bathrooms. Everybody would love to have a cook in their home. So I think in the future, as prices come down on robot arms, you're going to see more and more homes have chefs and cooks in their homes. So you basically, like, you can put everything on a timer and it'll cook your food or do whatever you need to do. Just like we have this right now, we have bread machines and we have crock pots and all kinds of other stuff that we can set timers ahead of time, and ovens and so on. And people are going to love these. Like I said, this is just a matter of time as the price comes down on robot arms. This will definitely help in restaurants. There's lots of examples of fast food restaurants where they're automating some areas of the fast food restaurants, fry cooks and so on. This was actually at CES 2020. There was a really cool booth that's showing this robot making a tofu dish. So you can see these are very articulating arms. And this is, like I said, this is technology we have now. I don't know if this video shows it, but you can actually train the robot to do the actions by virtual reality gloves and so on. And then you can actually, as the robot is being trained, you can actually move the arms and adjust your arms a little bit in the process to improve its improve how it does its job. So I love this example. I don't know if you've seen this example, but in Japan, this is an example of an assistant telepresence robot, robot used as a waiter, a butler. But this is a remote controlled telepresence robot, and it's being teleoperated. I love this example. The reason why I love this example is that the person operating this robot is disabled. There's actually some people who are totally disabled and only can use eye movements and facial expressions to manipulate the robot. So this actually allows people. This is outside pandemics and COVID-19, but this allows people who could not have a job or who would struggle to have a job. They can use this telepresence robot as their avatar. So this is an example. This lady's in a wheelchair. This guy is fully paralyzed. I think he's fully paralyzed. So is he. So these people could not work. This is the inventor of the robot system. And he's been developing this for a few years, but I'll try to show you an example. They actually can communicate through voice and gestures and so on with the people. So the robot just goes around and is basically just acts as a waiter. So this is outside of COVID-19, but I love this example, how people can remotely pilot this robot from their home. And like I said, this is another great example of the technology, how advanced the technology, and like I said, this avatar body double kind of thing going on. And I think it's a really cool example of what robots can help in today and in the future. If you're interested, just go out and go on YouTube. You can watch the whole video. So, probably should have shown this earlier. This is an example of a robot in a hotel. This is an example of a delivery robot, assistant robot, helper robot. So somebody needs an item, food item or whatever at the hotel. It'll decreases human contact when necessary. But this robot, there's actually a lot of hotels in Las Vegas, and there's some really high hotels throughout the world where the robots can deliver items to the individual rooms. And actually, this robot can go on the elevator. So this is a smart elevator, and the robot can actually use the elevator to navigate from floor to floor. So that way you don't have to have a robot on each floor. You can actually have a central location in the lobby or the management area where you can have these robots go back and forth. This, once again, is technology that's here, is now, not something we have to invent. So, like I said, you can see it how it's actually can use the elevator. This is all autonomous navigation using SLAM, localization, ROS, OpenCV. out avoided running into kids. So it's going to go to the person's room and deliver the item to them. And it's avoiding obstacles autonomously using LiDAR sensor. We'll advance a little further so we get a little further ahead. So it actually knows what room to go to. It's entered in, and the person can call and so on. And then the item gets delivered. The front panel should open up by pressing a little button there. And then the item gets charged to the room, or you could use credit card. And that's a great example of how you can use robots to deliver safely, to deliver items to a room, a quarantine area. Let's see. Yeah, let's just play this video real fast. This is an advanced example of how we could use arms and manipulation inside homes and so on. So just think if somebody is sick, hospitals are crowded, somebody's sick and it has to be bedridden in their house or the retirement community or home or so on. Instead of having them in a hospital or very expensive hospice, you could actually just put a robot in their house or their home or their apartment or place of business, whatever, and then this robot can help and assist the person and bring them food and supplies when they're home alone. You can also use VR to interact and remotely control the robot. So if you have an older a grandparent, a family member that's bedridden for a period of time, you can actually just place this robot in their house, and then you can remote pilot, or they can command it to autonomously bring them supplies when nobody else is in the home. You can also use this robot to clean and do other stuff. We can teach the robot about what and this just kind of goes from place to place. These robots are very sophisticated, very advanced now. Can be very helpful to people. The arms are getting very good at not crushing and destroying stuff. Force feedback, getting stuff. Once you train these robots, they're for their home, mapped out the area. They can all do this all autonomously. And kind of show you what's going on there. Let me kind of try to wrap up my presentation here. So I don't run over and give people a chance to ask questions. So like citizen robots is a huge category, but probably broken down to smaller areas. But I think it's something that can be robots can be used for not just COVID-19 issues, but can use to be all kinds of other related issues to help people out. So kind of wrap this up. My final category is the inventory robots. These just think of Amazon, Walmart, postal services, delivery services, warehouses. So when your supply chain's under stress because workers are getting sick or there's COVID-19 in the issues within the building, while you decontaminate or quarantine the building for a week or two, it would be really helpful to have the robots in the warehouse to continue to build, so put together the packages and check the inventory. Like Walmart's getting heavily into warehouse inventory robots in the individual stores. So like right now, you could go to Walmart and order ahead of time. So think if it's all automated robots, so you drive up to you order your stuff online, you drive up to the place, robots collect all your food supplies and then bring them out to your car. It decreases your exposure to the COVID-19. So the great examples is this warehouses and so on. Some other things quickly to think about. 5G, and it's going to be huge for cloud robotics, cloud AI. Just think of Alexa. A lot of the robots will be hooked up to 5G, through like Alexa, a Google Assistant, so they'll be very smart and very helpful, both to teaching aids in homes and businesses and so on. So one of the big things about robots is you don't have to lay them off. So if in the height of the pandemic, you can add some robots to a place of business, a hospital, whatever, school. Then after the pandemic has been alleviated and you don't need all the robots, you can actually store them in the storeroom for the next issue or the next crisis. Periodically turn them on, update and maintain them. But you don't have to worry about laying some robot off and then the robot kids will have no, its robot kids will have, have no income and so on. Don't have to worry about that. Right now, robots are becoming very safe outside the lab. I can show you some examples if we have time or you have questions on that. So in the US, I like to bring this up because in the US, we've kind of been conditioned through social media and movies to be scared of robots. But other countries like Japan, South Korea, and China see the robots more as heroes and helpers. And I think that should be promoted more and more. And as you see robots outside the research lab and you have more exposure to them, you realize that they're very safe, and be very helpful, and be safe around kids and older adults and so on. And I cannot stress to you how robots can help now. Most of this technology was here before COVID-19, but with COVID-19, the autonomous capabilities and telepresence capabilities, the manipulation of arms and so on, can be adapted to helping in hospitals and quarantine areas. So I can open it up to questions or I can show examples. So I like to show this slide. So with robots, a lot of people are scared that robots are going to take their jobs. But I'd like to tell people it's an opportunity to learn how to program robots, build robots, maintain robots. Think all those high school kids doing FIRST. Excuse me for a second. Think of all those high school kids that are on the FIRST team. So they're learning about robotics. They could use the skills and knowledge they learned in their FIRST team, and they can apply those in jobs. So a lot of restaurant owners are not tech savvy. They're business savvy and they're restaurant savvy, but they don't know a lot about technology. And think all those high school students for a part-time summer night job, they can be the maintainers and the robot supervisors, floor supervisors, and so on. So don't worry about robots taking your job. Think about how you can use a robot or you can adapt to having. Think if you're the person in a business who knows all about how to program and maintain a robot, how valuable you would be in a pandemic situation or a disaster situation where you can step up and say, hey, look, this robot's not working. I can fix it really quick and get it back into operation. And there's all kinds of resources online, free resources you can use to adapt. Let me double check to see. Oh, I'm sorry. There was a question. Yes. Let me look through these questions real quick, make sure I've answered all of them. Now, yes, robots in schools as assistants and teaching aids. In some situations, you can get away with not having a teacher in a classroom, but it'd probably be advisable to have somebody in the classroom to assist and help if something happens with the robot. But the big thing about having robot teachers or assistants is just think of the teacher has COVID-19 or has pre-existing conditions. they can use even the student can use a telepresence robot. So a student wants to still go to school, but is quarantined, or they have diabetes or some other pre-existing condition, asthma. They can use a telepresence robot so they can actually go to school when it opens up, but they don't have to worry about getting COVID-19 or being exposed to COVID-19. Yes, I definitely think janitor robots, they clean the restrooms in schools, restaurants, hotels, public restrooms, I think are a big, can be a big issue that we can alleviate. We can have robot janitors go in and periodically clean the restrooms and clean the public areas to decrease the people's exposure to bacteria, flus, and viruses. Yes, so I can't stress to you, as we're running out of time here, that these robots are out now like snow here. There's a lot of robots out now are ready to be used. If you have any questions about robotics or using robotics, or I think I posted my email. So if you just want to talk about robots or how to use robots or where to get robots or advice on that kind of stuff, just send me an email. We can set up a Zoom meeting or whatever. I really enjoy these Zoom meetings where we can talk and interact with people. So I'm just going to kind of hang out, answer questions. I think I have a few videos, more videos if you're interested. Show some examples of some of the cool things robots are doing. So let's bring them up. So I think this is a great, so when the supply chains are under stress, autonomous warehouse, food delivery and medical supply delivery and pharmacies and all the kind of stuff, I think it's really important to have this backup. I'm not saying fully autonomize a warehouse, a delivery service or whatever, but at the height of a pandemic, when your food chain or a supply chain is under heavy stress because of COVID-19 and people getting exposed and people getting sick, I think it'd be good to have this, especially as a backup, to help everybody out. And so you can use these in Walmarts and other grocery stores and stuff to check inventory, clean, and so on. And this will help with supply chain issues. And like I said, Amazon's a great example. They started this automation years ago, both to speed up and decrease the cost to themselves and their warehouses. They have these large warehouses all scattered throughout the U.S. now, and they're not fully autonomized, but parts of them are autonomous, and allows them to quickly and 24/7 supply chain interaction with people. So another example of here and now, I do work support on this robot. She's called Amy. This is at Big Bang Pizza in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm not sure if they're open now. I haven't talked to him recently. But this waitress robot can deliver food to the individual tables. So this is a cool way to help social distancing in environments. So you don't have to have person-to-person interaction, people getting close to you in restaurants. So this is another way that we can safely open up a restaurant and have the food delivered to the individual tables. And the robot has a LiDAR sensor which maps out the place of business and all the different tables. And all you have to do is say, robot, go to table 1, 2, 3, or 4, wherever the customer is. And the robot can automatically do that for you. So these are some examples of some videos I've taken. I have a really cool, let's see if I can find it. Oh yeah. So this is Robot Snow. And she's at a school. Now this is pre-COVID-19, but this is just kind of a way to show how the robot can navigate through a very highly congested area, and not run into people. It's funny, the kids loved the robot. They treated the robot like a little kid, and they were very polite to the robot, actually would talk to the robot. And yeah, if you have to leave, feel free to leave. I'm just probably going to hang out and answer questions, because I've had people jump in and out, maybe show a few more videos. And I'm going to post this video online, and the promoters of the event will post this video online so you can watch it again, or watch it from the beginning. So I like to tell people robots are very advanced. They're not going to run into you. They're not going to harm you. I love this example of an application that you can use, being used today. This is actually at the Seoul International Airport. This is assistant helper robot. This robot actually can take you around the airport, take you to areas, and you can voice communication or tablet communication with this robot. This robot's going to take me to a place of business, take pictures, and so going to interact with you. Kind of advance it a little further along. Really cool interface. So this robot's autonomously navigating after I give it a restaurant I want to go to. And see how it's avoiding the people. So these are very safe robots. I got numerous examples of robots interacting with people in the real world and not running into them, not harming them, not doing any damage. And this is all autonomous navigation. I think there's actually, there might be example, yeah. It actually, robot will stop. If the people get too close, the robot will just stop movement and wait for the person to get out of the way. So this robot also is, yeah, see how it's stopping. The person's too close, so the robot's stopping so the person moves away. So this robot's actually monitoring me and how far away I am from it. So if I get too far away from it, the robot will stop, ask me, please catch up, and wait for me if I get distracted or stop for some reason. So I have numerous examples of this. YouTube is great for this. If you're interested in checking up and finding out more about robots, you can check out my YouTube channel or other channels. Yeah, so there's another robot. Yeah, multiple robots at the airport. I think this would be great for airports and businesses and so on. So this is my YouTube channel if you're interested in checking out some more videos. I also teach virtual classes. I think. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, everybody's checking out. So I think I'm going to end the presentation real quick. This is an example of snow using LiDAR. So the LiDAR, this is how the robot autonomously navigates. It uses the LiDAR to make a map, and then You can move from waypoint to waypoint using that map and the sensor to full localization to know where it is at all times. Knows where it is on the map, and this is updated as the robot is moving, so we can interact with people and stuff added after the fact, after the map is made. Just a great example of autonomous capabilities of a lot of robots nowadays. I think I have another example, autonomous navigation by snow. I'll show real quick. So this is actually as a Maker Faire Milwaukee. So this is a huge inside. So I'll show this video real quick just to show you how this is autonomous navigation using SLAM localization, LiDAR sensor at the front of the robot, bottom front of the robot. Robot sees me, stops, doesn't run into me, using a sonic sensor in the front. Robot's trying to figure out how to navigate to the waypoint. Once I move out of the way, it can navigate to the waypoint. There are many examples. You can, like I said, you go out on YouTube, go to my channel, and see some of my examples. If you need more examples, like I said, feel free to drop me an email. If you want to have like a Zoom hangout or Google meeting or whatever, Microsoft meeting, you want to talk about more about robotics, some kind of robotics applications and what's going on in the field of robotics. Love talking about robots of all types, autonomously, not autonomously, telepresence, you name it. So, very cool. So I think I've gone on for more than an hour now. I think everybody's kind of moved on. So I'm going to end my virtual booth, and then I'll post this later and send this to the organizers of the event so they can post it. Pretty cool. So thanks for everybody for tuning in now and in the future. This was like fun. Really enjoyed this. Hopefully we can have in-person meetings in the future. If not, we can continue to do these virtual chats, online chats, kind of hang out and talk. Hey, cool. Talk to everybody later. Bye.